This is Gemara Chulin, Daf Chof Aleph. And today's shir has been sponsored once again by a close friend of the Daf as an incredible zchs aliyas neshama for the neshama of Yisrael מאיר ben Halevi, whose third yard site was yesterday on Dalet Sivan. B'siyata d'shmaya, the incredible koyach HaTorah generated by Talmud Torah b'Rabim on such an incredible day as we're almost sitting in Matan Torah, should bring the neshama of Yisrael מאיר ben Halevi higher and higher in Gan Eden Shamayla, closer to the Kisei HaKavod b'siyata d'shmaya. And we're in the middle of discussing Melika, the precise way Melika is done. We're holding on Chav Aleph Amud Aleph. We are 8 lines from the top. The first one line is Beloy Roiv Basar Tanya Nami Hachi. And we quote a brisa to support what we just said, as you'll see in a moment. Keitzad Molkin Chatas Ha'oif. How do you perform Melika? Chaytich Shidra. You cut the spinal cord, Umafrekes, and the neck bone, Beloy Roiv Basar, without of the majority of the flesh, ad until Shemagia Leveshet Oilikane, till you reach the Veshet Oilikane. Higia Leveshet Oilikane, you reach the Simanim, Chaytich Simin Echad Rubai. You cut one of them and the majority of it. Roiv Basar Imai, and the majority of the basar with it. Ube'oila shenayim oiroiv shenayim. And when it comes to the carbon oila, you cut 2 or the majority of 2. So says the Gemara, Mani, who is the opinion in the Bryce that says by the oila you could cut 2 or the majority of 2? Says the Gemara, Rabbanan, if it's the Rabbanan Amri Shleim Davka, you need to cut through 2. Ikar Rav Shimon, Ikar of Laz Rav Shimon. And if it's Rav Laz Rav Shimon, Hamar Roish Naim, so you never need to. So who's the opinion that says either 2 or Rav 2? Choose your poison, it's one or the other. Says the Gemara, Ema, the Brisa means to say Shnayim, either 2 according to the Rabbanan, and Rav Shnayim, the Rav Laz Rav Shimon, which of course is not the greatest way of reading the Brisa, a little bit lav dafka, but okay. Teretz number 1. Iba Yisim with Teretz number 2. Hava Rav Laz Rav Shimon. Both are Rav Laz Rav Shimon. Umay Shnayim, and what does it mean? They cut through 2. Shedai min l'shnayim. It appears to 2, but it means they cut beroiv. Now, obviously, that's also not so pashut, because if the whole machlekes is shnayim or roiv shnayim, to say shnayim and mean roiv, okay, but those are the 2 terutzim of the Gemara. Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Shmuel, says Rav Yehuda Amar Shmuel, Nishvara mafrekes v'roiv basar ima. So we've been discussing the status of an animal if the neck is completely broken. But what happens if a person's neck is completely broken with the majority of the flesh? The halacha is mitame ba'oil. He gives off tumas oil. And what's the chiddush? Even if Rashi says mifarches, even if the body is still moving, the person has the status of a mace and gives off tumas mace ba'oil. And if you're going to tell me the maisa of Eli mafrekes below rav basar was a case which the neck bone was broken, but not the roiv basar. Zikna shiny. Mafrekes below rav basar. So what do we see? We see that mafrekes itself, even without roiv basar, has the status of dead. Says the Gemara, Zikna shiny, he was an old person. Eloikim vayipol me'al kisei acharanis be'ad yad ha'sha'ar v'tishbar mefarkasa v'yamais ki zakein ha'esh v'chaved. The Gomer says the Gemara that when the messenger mentioned the arain, Eli fell off the chair and his neck broke, and he was old and heavy. So says the Gemara, the reason is a din of a mace, even when only one happens without roiv basar, because he was a zakin. Amar Rav Shmuel bar Nachmani, Amar Rav Yechanan, Karui Kidag, Mitame be'oyel. If someone's flesh long the entire length of his body is ripped open like a fish, he's a din of a dead person. Amar of Shmuel, Bar Yitzchak, Umei, and where does this have to occur? On his back. Says the Gemara, Amar Shmuel, Asai Gisteram. If the animal is split in two, back to animals, Neveila, is in Neveila, Amar Avalazan, Itala Yarech. V'cholol shelaf, the thigh is removed, and the cavity, you could tell, Neveila. You could see into the cavity instead of a nevela. It says the Gemara, what exactly does that mean? Amar Rava, Kol Shem Revutza Vinira Chasera. Says the Gemara, you know what it is where when the animal crouches and it looks like the limb is completely missing, that's what it means, that the cavity is open. That's where we're going to tell you, even if it looks alive, it has the status of a nevela. Continuing the same theme, when items are considered dead, etc., Tanan also. Hotza roisheim. If their heads were cut off, we're talking about different creepy, crawly creatures. Aval bishem mefarchesan, even though they're moving to meim. Kizanav hatala shemefarcheses, like the lizard's tail that moves even after it's been removed. Velamaisa, it's considered dead. That's considered completely severed. Mayotsu, what do you mean the heads were cut off? Rishlakish amarotsu mamish. Avasi amar Rabbi mani kehavdolas oilas oif. It was cut like the separation of the head from the body, like by the oilas oif. Amar le Rabbi Yirmiyah le Rav Asi kehavdolas oilas oif le Rabbanan v'loi palgitoi. What do you mean like the oilas oif? Do you mean it was like the of according to Rabbanan? It was completely severed. V'loi palgitu, and Rish Lakish does not argue. Oy Delmor, maybe kavdol oilas oif le Rav Shimon palgitu. Amar le Yerushan also Rav Shemin Palginon, and they do not agree. Ikad the Amrin other Lashon 10 lines on the bottom. Rav Shemin look at Shemerot so mamish, it means that was mamish cut off. Rav Asi Amar Rabbi Mani Kavdal Saloiv Rav Shemin B'Rav Shnaim. My Rabbanan my Rav Shemin the Tanya of Ashneini Yas Oila Kimishvat, says the Basik. And the second bird, you should make it an oil according to the halacha. What does it mean, kimishbat? Kimishachatos behema. One second, after kimishachatos behema, yinayela. Kimishachatos oiv kshoimer. When the pasuk says, v'ekrivu, and he brought them there, cholakakos b'chatos oiv le'oilas oiv. The Torah differentiates between the two. Umani mekain kimishpat chatos behima. It comes to say chatos behima, that what? Ma chatos behima einai ba, as we turn off the chaval from abeis, that the chatos behima is einai ba ela min achulin, and not from what? Only from something mundane. And not from Zaktatab Rashi, no, not from what? Not from something with Kedusha. What's something with Kedusha? Ma'is Meiser Sheni. Ubeyoim, and as you brought by day, ubiyadei haibanis. Afalas ha'oivin abalim and achulin ubeyoim ubiyadei hamanis. Says the Gemara, but wait, imala halam b'roiv shnayim, avkan b'roiv shnayim. You should have to cut through all two of them. Tamalei maru molak v'hiktir. Says the Gemara that what? Maktara roish ba'atzmai v'aguf ba'atzmai. Just like the oilas oif, the head is by itself and the body is by itself when it burns. Av melika roish ba'atzmai v'aguf ba'atzmai. So too by melika. But it's not according to everyone. Rabbi Shmuel Oimer, says Rabbi Shmuel, no, kimishbat. And what do we learn out from there? Kimisha chatas oif, ma chatas oif, mimol oiref, av oilas oif, mimol oiref. Imal halon, moilik vino mavdil, b'simin echad, avka moilik vino mavdil, b'simin echad. But says the Gemara, wait, if you're making this equation, then we should say that he has to do the malika and he doesn't separate it. You don't cut through the second simin bechlal. Are you going to say the same thing over here? Tamaloi marvik riva. He says the Torah, you are makriv it. And what does that show us? That this oilas oif is different than the chatos ha oif. And therefore the din that you don't separate the second simin is only by the chata soif and not by the oila soif. Shita set number 2. Shita number 3, 2 lines from the bottom of the Rav Shimon Oimer. Kimishbat, kimishbat chata soif. It's like a chata soif. The what? Malahalon. Just like over there, as we turn off the chavbezim ebeis, oiches beroish ubegof umazeh, you spray the blood as he holds the head in the body. Afkan, the same thing. Oiches beroish ubegof umazeh. Says the Gemara, my kamer. What's this last did that you're saying? Achi kamer. Malal and kshu oiches beroish. Whilst you're holding the head begof mazeh, you sprinkle from the body. Afkan, so to here kshu oiches beroish begof. Mazeh. Let's stop. No, let's just finish up the lesson of Shimon. Frak the Gemara, but wait, that's what you need Vikrivoy to teach us. We'll stop over here. I'll pick it up from the sheet of the Tanakama the next year. B'siyata dishmaya.